good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me are co-hosts Macy O'Deal and Garrett Punchy Deal. We do want to apologize for our other co-host, Nikita Robinson, who is traveling back to the island this evening with the under-20 women's national team that played in the knockout stages of the under-20 championships in the Dominican Republic. Unfortunately, Bermuda went down last night 2-0 to Guatemala. Got a chance to watch that game, and I think we still have some ways to go, but it's encouraging that a team like Guatemala, we were able to hold them for 56 minutes. We created a few chances, but obviously they were the better team on the night. Mason, did you see any parts of the game?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched the game with closely.
Mm.
Yeah, for me, it's a couple of things. I mean, it wasn't a bad from the perspective of the game. It wasn't a bad game, and we were able to get. I can see that we're trying to learn how to defend.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to the half. We got to the half if the score equal. So, which means that we'll push Guatemala to answer some questions. So we're at least ask some questions now. So we're asked some questions. We were never really threatened going forward per se.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, with not being able to sort of counter attack them and give them some counter uppercuts,
Mm-hmm.
they will always keep coming to us. And then
Right.
you can see at the end of the day, fitness is a thing because they just kind of start to wear us down, wear us down, wear us down, wear us down. And then once they scored and what they was done, you could see there was in better control of the game. So it is encouraging that too. Is that we were able to compete in the game, and I'm using the language compete. There are some other things that you see that happening. So not understanding the whole dynamics myself, you see that there are five girls that participated in the senior team in this
Mm-hmm.
under 20 team, and then some
Mm-hmm.
younger girls from the under 17. So we're asking players to double up, and,
Yeah.
and we're asking players to double up. We're actually asking coaches to double up because Keto was the senior coach and now under 20 coach. So for me, what that says were we potentially can overwhelm people. We can
Mm-hmm.
overwhelm players. We can overwhelm coaches, and we have to figure out the way of increasing our pool of players.
Yeah. So just not to cut you off, but just saying that I think they've been talking about that at the women's level for some time. It's the fact that this group that is now getting to the 20s are still some of the 17s because of the lack of numbers. If you looked at it over the last few years, they've been using or utilizing players outside the age group to get to make up a team of a higher age group. So I think with the pool of players coming behind, I think they're about another 2 or 3 years away from having under 20s play under 20s, seniors
Yeah.
play seniors, under 17s play under 17s. So I think once we get the number pool up, I think that's
Well,
where it would level off.
right, and I get that argument. I get that idea. The challenge to that and the other side of that. So let's take the senior team. Like we know that. Let's take a player like Deshae Darrell that
Mm-hmm.
that has experience. She wasn't included in the senior team, and
Mm-hmm.
there are other players not included in the senior team, which meant you got to bring youth players in there.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, you put girls in players in a position that they're not ready for.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
potentially, so they're not experienced enough for it. So the idea of bringing younger players in. So like even if you take on the world stage, and I know the number game we're talking about. So you
Mm-hmm.
you take on the world stage. Let's talk about 1994 World Cup Brazil won it. Ronaldo, the phenomenal, was on the bench the whole tournament. He never played a game, but he was
Mm-hmm.
part of that too, so he can be, so he can see what that looks like. So when it's his turn, whereas what we're doing, we're actually got five younger players on the field that we're dependent on,
Mm-hmm.
and potentially that puts them in a vulnerable situation. You know, so that's the tricky part of it as to the numbers games that we're playing. For me, I would like to be able to make sure every resource available is there for us. Think about every resource is available far as a player is available there for us.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right. Punchy, any thoughts on Bermuda playing Guatemala last night?
Yeah, I got to see the game after Bermuda already 2-0 down.
Mm.
So very, I had to go with my brother Cal, so we sat down and we watched. So very encouraging signs, though. But we still have to remember that we're still a very small nation, and the pool of players, what Mayfield refers to about the pool of players that we can pick from. And I think it's kind of it was kind of a lack of experience. I just think it's a lack of the competitiveness that we see. I think they were structured right. There's some things that I said, that looked pretty good. Certain prices in midfield, you see the lack of experience, and but there's still encouraging signs about my Kita double coaching. We have to find a solution for this.
Actually, Vance was the head coach of the team last night.
Oh, okay. But still overloading with Kita. I mean, maybe she was the advisor, but the point that I'm saying is that what I saw last night for the last 25 minutes, there are some encouraging signs. And again, we're entering these competitions for what? To learn from. Are we going to win these competitions at that level? I don't think so. But we're learning, and we're going to get better as long as. And then I've heard that they're going to really restructure the girls' football program here, which is a good thing. I think the having an under 20 team, under 17, but numbers and competitiveness is most important. And sometimes the young girls get thrown in at the deep end, which is kind of hard for them. Yeah. But we're playing against Guatemala, and so it was, I think it was a fair result for them. But again, I think we can only go up we can only get better. That's it, and it's going to take time.
Yeah, just getting a message. Mazio mentioned the Shea Darrow. She actually stopped playing. For whatever reason, she stopped playing. So
yeah, and I just throw these names out there, right? Because I just throw these names out there without knowing the circumstances. But we need to make sure these people don't stop playing. Like I can speak about the boys that give up and what pack it in and why they pack it in. I know the reasons some of the boys just lose interest in the game. So for us, what I want to see the game do is not make our players lose interest. And I want to know why they're losing interest, because they're losing interest for a reason. So I'm just throwing names out there that I understand, because I know on the boys' side they just lose interest. Like I'm seeing enough times they lose interest. It could be a relationship with the coach. It could be a relationship with football. It could be work why they're losing interest. It could be they start a family, why they lose interest. All these reasons, but I want to fix the piece that they don't lose interest.
Well, good point, Maceo. A good point. With our society, people playing, they got to go to work. They got to, it's difficult for us. What we have to do is find a structure within the country that, and I thought, even when I was in England, about what I had witnessed, and this is on the food for thought, that having a structure, why do younger people give up so early now, stop playing? Yeah. So get the football and start playing now early. I thought maybe we could sit down and have a talk about this, why this is happening. And it's been spoken about. Andrew has spoken about this so much. You can hear, the players, why younger players are not staying in the game now, more. And the interest is going because it's waning, because there's other things going on in our society. So what I think is that we've got to get a group of people together and say, let's restructure this. Let's see what we're going to do to take these players, make them interested. Let's find something. Let's make something work here. Instead of losing them, let's find a way to keep them, that they want to come out. They want to play. Maybe it's having I thought about this, and just a food for thought. I'm not going to go on about this. My grandson, every Thursday, right? What Bournemouth did was that he was out of school, and Ajani out of school for the whole day. The whole day. There was a structure, was a communication between Bournemouth, the school, and the whole day was concentrated on school. The school work. Still to do school work. Training started at 9 o'clock in the morning. I didn't see him until 5 o'clock. But I'm saying it was like I said, wait a minute, if we find some top players, top young players, maybe do you think we can do that and say, listen, let's give them these academy players. So everybody's trying to get an academy now. Off on Thursdays, you know how kids are. I want to get in that team. I don't know if we just got to come up with what I'm saying. I'm just throwing that out there. We got to come up with some solution to keep these young men, especially young women, because we need young girls playing now. Come up with a solution. What's going to make them stay in this game? What's going to make them play for the country? And we're going to find solutions here.
Just to be clear, this is not a criticism of the BFA or the coaching or the players. This is more that I know that we need to restructure our football to keep our people involved in it. I've seen enough times that we're losing players to football. Like I give you an example. I know the other day I interacted with the volleyball association, the girls, and the whole program. And I counted 20 kids that I used to coach football that are now playing volleyball. I'm like, why? They're still active in sports. Why am I losing my players? Why am I losing players to other sports? And like I said, kudos on volleyball or kudos on other sports, but I don't want to lose them to. I don't want to lose my football players. So it's like we have to find the reason to keep them engaged in the game.
Well, yes, but we have to remember that at sometimes we weren't even offering women's football.
Exactly.
Other than at the national coaching at the national level. So
my point.
Yeah, I mean, hands are tied. So if somebody wants to do something, and it's outside, it's not available in where they want to do it, they're going to find something else to do. I mean, my thing is, as long as they're doing something, I'm happy no matter which sport they go to. It's for me, it's if you're going to represent the country in something that you're enjoying to do. Now, remember that sometimes even the best player in our scenario, in Bermuda scenario, because you have some families that would say, listen, Maceo, I know you're a talented footballer, but guess what? I need you to go out and work, mate.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
You know what I mean? And there's
I understand all the circumstances around it, and I just want to try to find a solution because even what coming to my head, like we have the player Kelly Lasper. She came up through Kelly Lasper now I think she's only going to be she's probably going to be about 25. And she's probably into the corporate world. It's like she's not participating. And it's like I want to find and because it's a football issue, I'm speaking more selfishly about football.
Yes.
I'm speaking about selfishly about football and maintaining our athletes so we can have a resource and we can compete and we can move the project forward. So that's what I'm speaking of. I'm speaking about, and I know, it just needs a bigger conversation about how we figure out how to entertain these players and keep them involved in the game, and get to the space where we move forward from our national program to participating, to competing, and to winning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the conversation. What I'm
Sure.
hearing. I mean, the game last night itself, like I said, they did good to get to the half, within a shout of the game. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our first commercial break, and when we come back, obviously we need to get into the matches that have taken place, and we'll get an update from the Devonshire Recreation Club between Devonshire Cougars and PHC. We'll be back after this.
This month, John Barrett & Son bring us a premium thirst quencher from North Carolina, the Blue Ultra Purified Water. Many other bottled waters use reverse osmosis to reach an acceptable level of purity. Le Bleu uses a 5-step purification process, which includes fractional vapor compression, distillation, and ozonation, assuring purity and a unique, appealing flavor. Consumer testimony repeatedly praises the taste of Le Bleu compared to the other brands, and this, along with superior purity, makes Le Bleu a must-try. Lynn knows. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Welcome back. Just to give an update, it is 1-0 to PHC at the Devonshire Recreation Club. Trey Mead has scored for PHC as they lead Devonshire Cougars. Let's go through the weekend matches that have been played thus far. Well, I think let's start with, obviously, yesterday afternoon it was North Village Rams 2, Robin Hood 3. Last night at the BAA field, it was Dandy Town Hornets 4, Southampton Rangers 0. And then today at Garrison Field, it was Crossroads 1, Somerset Eagles 1. And at Wellington Oval, it was St. George's Colts 2, Devonshire Colts 2. In First Division yesterday, it was St. David's 1, Wolves 2. Today, it was Boulevard Blazers 2, Young Man Social Club 1, Hamilton Parish 3, BAA 2, Vasco 4, Paget Lions have turned the tables on Macy O'Deal because they scored 6 times to win their first game of the season. We'll get to that later because obviously Punchy, he was adamant that Paget would not win a game this season. I tell you they were close.
I've been humble.
But okay,
Wow.
Let's start with obviously yesterday's game, and let's talk about last night's game because Dandytown league leaders, they want to make sure that they continue to control their own destiny with this league, and they control it right now. Playing Southampton Rangers, Southampton Rangers are just coming off of a big win for themselves, winning over Devonshire Colts a few weeks ago, but a win nonetheless. But a team like Dandytown, who would have been disappointed with the scoreline against Somerset Eagles, we talked about that a few weeks ago, winning 1-0. But they want to put on a show this time around, and obviously did just that with 4 goals against Southampton Rangers. But getting the job done, I think that's been the message for Dandytown. Get over the line week in and week out, and move ahead to try and win the league and get that turn up. Punchy, your thoughts on Dandytown and Southampton Rangers?
Oh, well, we had always said that this is hands down. It's going to be a victory for Dandytown, But, yeah, I think, again, after that disappointing, even though they won up Somerset Eagles, I'm sure they were disappointed with the scoreline. Again, it was Saturday afternoon game, am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Their game was last night.
I know, I'm talking about the game against Somerset Eagles.
Oh, yeah, Saturday afternoon. Yes, that's right.
Saturday afternoon. I'm more conscious of their scores now. I think I said this before. This is my personal opinion about players now having to change and play on Saturday afternoons at 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Remember amateur players, and it does add into the psyche of their what they play like. And I watched that yesterday also. I watched it yesterday. The crowds are not going to because Saturdays at 3 o'clock. People in the grocery stores, they doing something else. Yeah. So I think Dandytown again Saturday night game. That's the norm. Saturday night game. So I wasn't expecting anything different there. Sure, I don't know. I didn't go city game, but I just know that that Rangers again. Finally, they won last week or week before they beat down Chicago. But of course, we're going back to what we're talking like Norwich. It's back to the same old. When you play against these other, yeah, it's the same. I just know it. I just think that again, Danny Tar now have got an idea in terms of even what they want to do, how they're going about it. Even though they lost to North Village, they still pull the socks up, and I see them in the league. I see they're not gonna fall. I don't see it.
Right, Maceo?
You gotta look at the method that they're winning games too, man. How they're getting games across the line, and that's the important piece, right? They didn't have Kamali Davis available. They didn't have their Stewart fullback available. TJ, they didn't have him available. They didn't have their captain available, who's going to be out for the whole season, and they're getting these games across the line. They had some serious links of their team missing. So that speaks to a team, right? That speaks to a team that they don't have these players available and they're getting the results across the line. Right. One standout in the I want to mention a standout that's been consistent all season that's not been mentioned, that we seldom mention these type of players is a Sunday Ferbert. In that game yesterday, he does a fabulous job in the center of in the holding midfield, protecting the back four and allowing the front four the people in front of him to play. Danny Todd, the guy Lobo, Antonio. I mean, he hasn't been around all at the second half of the season. He's bought also it points to a team. It points to a whole team of people that are doing stuff and getting these results across the line. So you have to respect that.
Definitely. And then yesterday afternoon, Punchy, you've already alluded to it, where North Village went down 3-2 to Robin Hood. The game, the first two goals were well-taken goals, good build-ups, but the game lacked a lot of stuff in between, before that and after that. It ended up with 5 goals scored, but there was a lot to be desired. And maybe you're onto something about a Saturday afternoon, Punchy.
Well, first of all, both teams only had 2 substitutes.
I know both.
Yeah. So where were the rest of the players?
Yeah.
That's one thing I was like, whoa. Okay. My take on that game yesterday, it's quite a bit, but I made quite a bit of notes on that. What I saw yesterday. There's definitely, let's talk about Robin Hood first. What I've seen, what I saw, very, very organized. The captain carries a lot of weight there. I think his name is Bob. What's the captain of?
Liam Evans. No, yeah. Liam was skipper yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, but I think they function well. You can see this. They function well. And what I did notice also is I think it's the left attacking wingback. That was very crucial. You see, I always thought he's pretty good on the ball. But I just like what I've seen they work hard, they don't give up, nobody's showing at nobody, they're organized, and they have some pretty good footballers. And again, as the league has gone on, I'm seeing like when Norfolk beat them the first time, it's 2-0, they were still in the game until B8 at night, right? Yesterday, I thought, wow, they're doing much better in certain parts of their game. Especially up around the 18-yard box, what I saw, the goals that were scored. It's like Shea Brangman. We talk about Shea Brangman, the big guy. He just works his socks off, and he's big. He's a big guy. Yeah. He puts his work in. Like I said, I watched him. I heard he talking on the field, instructions. I said, well, they're just growing. I took them for the drop zone. But I don't know about that now.
Yeah, I think
yesterday.
Yeah, I think they, with that young team at the beginning of the season, they struggled. A lot of those players struggled with the pace.
Yes.
And now that they've kind of caught up a bit of the pace, because they're allowing their youthfulness to be expressed with a bit of maturity. I think that's what you saw yesterday, a vast improvement.
Yeah, but let's say for instance against Denny Town, there's a lot of times that they will be taking advantage of, but Denny Town definitely take advantage. Will get the battle of them, the youth, the younger players, which again back. Let me get back to North Village. Most people are identifying the weaknesses at North Village more and more. I thought they were slow yesterday. I think what Kenny wants to, what he's trying to achieve, it's not good. I just don't think it's achieving it with the players that he has. What's mind-boggling is that, wait a minute, I saw him play against Denny Town, and then I go back to the notes that I made about that. So we saw him down in Park beat Denny Town on Sunday afternoon, right? And then I saw him draw 1-1 with PHC. I think that was 1-1 up to that day. I think so, right? Now, there's two top teams, and they have these performances. Yesterday, it was a very poor performance by a lot of individual players. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow. Now, the young guy that they've been playing on, that scored 2 goals. They were no great goals. I think the goalkeeper from VA from Lebanon made some mistake. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the players, I thought, didn't live up to the expectations of Kenny. What he wants, what he intends to do, the way he wants to play. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's like I just think that the fourth place team. They better be very careful when they play Boulevard next week. They're going to have to be very careful with that. And so I just saw the weaknesses within Norfolk. And it's, like I said, it's mind-boggling. When they play every time, are they just ready for this game? And it's just they gave Robin Hood too much room to play. Yeah, they just and I just go, well, wait a minute. You weren't doing it against any time. You didn't do it against PHP. So why was that concept has never stayed with? And that's my pet peeve of watching.
I thought you were about the bench. I thought you was changing up to just.
Yeah. I was gonna call Macy or say, look, hey, my brother Park, go get my gear. And bring Macy up.
I was wondering.
Yeah. Just give me 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
That's all you need.
What I'm saying to you now that we can, come here and do notes. I thought they came on the left, on the north of his right side quite a bit easy. And the young man I'm talking about, his cross came in the box good, and here comes Shea Brangman. I mean, this Norfolk again. I mean, when you're at them, when you put the ball in spaces, when they get behind Norfolk, the back forward Norfolk, there's trouble. There's trouble, especially from wide position. We're not very good. And I think Mr. Harvey on the left side is no good. But I can identify, tell you, the right full side of Norfolk is it's not what it should be. And so teams are making sure that they go on that side. And a lot of girls are coming from that side. So, a lot of teams are doing the homework now. And I just don't think that what Kenny wants to do, and the structure's okay, but the players are not living up to their potential. And then I look at the who's going to go for North Village? I start looking around and say, well, how many midfielders? I can call the name. How many goals Dimitri Daniels got? Who's scoring on the goals? You talking about Rai? And then the other guy, Smith, is not playing. So where the goals going to come from? Yeah.
Mayfield?
I mean, a couple of interesting things. First of all, you have let's speak of Robin Hood. I think they're being well coached, and they're getting good information at good times. You got these kids that have been able to do this, right? And let's talk about the young kid that keeps scoring is Goder. I know he's actually a proper North Village Goder. His dad's a proper North Village Goder. So let's talk about why that player's not at North Village. Let's park that piece, because he's actually a proper Goder, and he's scoring goals, so that's a good thing. Now that I've seen Robin Hood play it a few times, I'm watching the coaching staff. They're making right decisions at right time to win games. So when the games are equal, so this game was equal. So North Village would have scored first, Robin Hood responded. North Village scored second, Robin Hood responded. Now it's 2-0, and now the game's equal. Now coaching decisions come in. This is where a coach makes a good decision or a bad decision. And Robin wants to making these good decisions to get these games across the line and not lose these games. And North Village, I see just from who played and who didn't play. So North Village has started with this young kid, and it takes back the conversation we was talking about the Nationals and this young kid, this Yielson girl. And we had a conversation about that earlier in the year. And on the bench, you got Detre Bow. Now,
Detroit was limping when I saw him walk off the field halftime.
Okay, so if DJ Bow's on the bench and is not capable of playing, is there as a number? We're talking about resources of players now. We're having the conversation about resources of players and how do we keep players involved in the game? How do we do that? But again, that's a bigger conversation. But if we're just isolating and having a conversation about this game, Robin Hood's moving in a good direction. Now we'll see Robin Hood in the second season. They got the first season honeymoon. We know. So let's speak of the English Premier League. We know teams that come up, they're motivated. They got their first season, and the second season they taper off. So Robin Hood's real measurement now is gonna be how do they go from strength to strength in the second season? Because they're down well. I actually had them down to be relegated at the beginning of the season. That was the idea, and I like I said, I'm saying on this show enough times. I like when I give criticism and people prove me wrong and they improve, and that's what they've done. Robin Hood's improved. They're improving with the resources they have. And they're now starting to get results over a Village that's more experienced club, more experienced player, and they're getting the result over them.
And just to add to that, I'm not going to go on and on about this, but again, you can see the improvement of the young players that they have. You can see it. I saw it. I just see it. I was like, whoa, this is what's going on here. These guys, in certain positions, they got some very talented young players. And it's nothing fancy about them. They just play. The ball moves good, and they're organized. Like Mitchell said, with level. And kudos to level.
Right. I'll actually put your eye on this kid, Daniel Cook, left footer. Not a big structured player, left footer. He's actually a player I've coached at North Village over the time. He's actually a proper footballer with a proper footballing mentality and brain. He's a player that were missed many, many years in his development. So he's only Daniel's going to be 19 about now.
Mm-hmm.
Proper player. So if we talk about players that we want to laugh back or whatever, he's a proper player. But our coaching in Bermuda has missed that type of player. We keep our eye on it. His name Daniel Cook.
Daniel Cook.
Yeah, you have a kid, Cody Robinson, that plays in the middle for him. He's actually a beast. He's a beast of a player. With the information, you can see that coming as a beast of a player. And Cody's going to be 16. So good job that they're doing with those young kids out there, man.
Definitely. Well, we're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have the other matches in the Premier and First Division. We'll be right back.
The history of everyday use of spices extends back thousands of years into antiquity. Since 1976, the Frontier Natural Foods Co-op has been bringing a wide range of exciting and authentic flavors to the table. A comprehensive range of ancient traditional herbs and spices produced organically and sustainably. The results are good news for the environment and more robust, fragrant essential oils in these natural seasonings. This month, we're featuring Frontier Natural Products, at least 95% organic salt-free lemon pepper. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. Well, at Garrison Field, two teams who are in deep relegation trouble, and that is Crossroads and Somerset Eagles, played to a 1-1 draw. Somerset Eagles scored bright and early. Looking at their team sheet, they only had 11 players, so they had to survive the entire game with just that 11 players. But they came away with a 1-1 draw with Crossroads scoring in the second half. No surprise there, Maceo?
No surprises there, man. Both of those teams are incapable of winning games of football. Yeah, so they pretty much canceled themselves out. So they gained no advantage over each other playing each other. Yeah, and at this point in time, for me, my football brain can't even start to comprehend what's going on. You know, you're playing games with 11 players. That just signals where we are, right? And this conversation that we're having, we had it about the national team, about fixing our games that we get that we have resources to play it. And I personally don't buy the argument they go away and all that stuff, because that's happened for donkey's years. You know, we just have another player come through. And if we speak of the value of football, let's talk about a club like Santos back in your day. Because players couldn't make certain clubs, they formed another club to be able to play football, because we had resources of players. We have resources of players. So we're in a reverse situation now where we don't have the resources of players, and we got to figure out how do we maintain the resources of players for the interest of the game.
Yeah. Punch? Crossroads and
these two teams just making up the numbers now in the league. Are they making up the numbers in the league? Really? Like some leagues just make up the numbers. It's also psychologically wise. They beat Norfolk, and since then, what have they done? What have they really done? I think they were close against PHC, I believe, or they were hammered by PHC. So, it's what going back to what Mayfield said, also adding to what Mayfield said about we got to look at what is going on in the country now. Hamilton Parish, and let's say they're going to be promoted in BAA. I think it's two teams. Anyway, but the point is, what would happen to them? What's going to happen to them? I think the structure better. I think what they want to achieve, Hamilton Parish is doing a lot of things off the field also. So even next year, let's see them having a good following. I know from Sunday afternoon, you're not going to get Hamilton Parish showing up at PHC with 11 players. So what we're talking about here is what's going on in certain clubs, the demise of certain clubs. I always thought, well, how long is Crossroads Extras going to last? How long is it going to last? What's going to happen there? They seem to keep hanging on with Donovan, Donovan Thompson. Is it Donovan Thompson? He stays there. So let's say, for instance, the two go to be done on playing at 12:30 on Sunday afternoon. Or what happens when they come back up if they do get demoted? So we're really going to rethink what the structure of football is, what's happening to these clubs, and what's going on with social club. Let's say we're talking about social club, Hamilton Parish, and Boulevard. On a Sunday afternoon, Boulevard's got to go up to Somerset to play, or they got to go on a Saturday night. They got to go BA to play against Dennytown. I'm talking about the next year. And I thought, well, yeah, Somerset Eagles were the same position last year when they were promoted and they were beating everybody. Okay, Doc, 2 games in, they take, and look where they are now. So are they just making up the numbers? And we're going to start looking at the fact of the organization of clubs and what we're looking at, the results. And Rangers is another one. So it was easy to say, okay, I think our projection for the game was that we thought Crossroads going to I think most of us expect Crossroads to win that. But again, it's sad. We're going to come up with a solution to make sure that these teams that are promoted, structured, and what they can bring to the competition and the quality of the league. And I don't think Somerset Eagles has brought that to us.
Sure. And then, of course, while we know it's still 1-0 out at Devonshire Recreation Club, that's the final Premier Division game of the week. But before that, at Wellington Oval, it was St. George's Colts 2, Devonshire Colts 2, the battle of the Colts. Devonshire Colts took the lead early. St. George's equalized. St. George's scored in the 86th minute. but then allowed Devonshire to score in the 88th minute. So, they were looking to turn the tables because ever since they beat North Village, they haven't had a win, and they were looking like they were going to get a win with 2 minutes to go, and unfortunately gave up yet another goal that would have, they're probably still trying to figure out how can we get a win? How can we get a win?
I I actually didn't know North Philly still had that stature that clubs get up to beat them, and then that's it. Both of these clubs are going south since they beat North Village. If you remember, Devonshire Colts beat North Village in the first half of the season, and they're going south since that time. Now St. George's Colts have beat North Village, and they're going south. You know, for me, I'm not convinced St. George's is a football team. I was starting to lean towards them being a football club. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. And I'm not convinced about Colts. And I was pushing the agenda for Ray to talk with the big boys. He ain't gonna talk with the big boys. It's not gonna talk with the big boys. It's just not.
Not gonna talk. Okay.
Yeah, if you're not done it by now, you're not gonna have a seat at the table with the big boys. You're not gonna have a seat at the table with the big boys. It's just not.
Sure.
Yeah. And I was hoping that he would, because if you get a stature like Ray having a seat at the table with the big boys, you have a ability to shake it up and make people do better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But he's not gonna get a seat at the table.
Okay, all right. Punchy?
I still think St. George going to be there. I won't call them in the rebuilding stage. The building, and of course, it was a disappointment to them. And don't forget they've had injuries also.
Right.
Consistency since the month of goals they've conceded lately will be, of course, of concern to me. I thought with my pick, I thought they would slip by Devonshire Colts. I thought they would have won this game. Must be disappointing for that result for them. But I don't see them being relegated. My thing is that the building, they're not rebuilding, they're building the program there. And so it's going to take time. And these results, it does happen. Those things do happen when you lose like that. And, you've been conceding. How many goals they've conceded in the last 3 games? I think it was something like at least close to 11.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
Quite a bit. So that's 2 goals again. So with one of the best goalkeepers in the country. So where's this coming from? The leaking in defensive. Are they set up right? They just. I don't see them. Like I said, I don't see them getting relegated. I just see what would happen to them next year.
Right.
Out of the FA, I think they're in the friendship. Am I correct? They're in the friendship.
Hey, next year they'll get relegated.
I don't know. I think the mentality is that if I got to give Neil what they're trying to do there, and it's going to take time. It's going to take time, but I still think the results are not going to happen right away. They're not going to be okay. Western Georgia was second, we can't second. No, it's a building process going on there, and these results will happen at times.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now let's take a look at the first division, because obviously it was a top of the table clash at Wellington Oval where Hamilton Parish took on BAA. Hamilton Parish came away with a 3-2 win with all 5 goals scored in the first 45 minutes. I know, Maceo, you picked. You look at Hamilton Parish as a team, and you say, they're running away with the league and doing extremely well. But were you surprised at how close this one was, as the 2 teams played to a 2-2 draw the last time they played at BAA Field?
No, I'm not surprised about the result, about the closeness of the game, because again, BA have an organization, have a structure. You're not just going to beat them, right? You're not just going to be able to beat them. They showed that against Cougars, even though Cougars got across the line and they beat them. You're not just going to be able to beat them. So that the result of the closeness of the game does not surprise me, but Parish is getting across the line. They're probably promoted by now, isn't it?
They would have been promoted today, yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations to them. So now with them promoted, now I'm going to judge them. I'm going to judge them really harshly to see if they can stay focused and they'll start to build into next season, and can they win the FA. Now I'm going to judge them very harshly that they got what they want, because this is where I measure progress. Okay, you got what you want. How do you push that on? How do you push it? Because that's been a difficult piece for us as a culture of football. When we
Right.
do something good, how do we build on it to the next stage? So even if we go to the national team and we did something good, how do we go to the next stage? And we don't. The answer to that, we haven't been to the next stage once we do something good. So now I
Right.
want to see Parrish.
Mm. And Punchy, your thoughts on Hamilton Parish and BAA?
Mm. Yeah, we knew it was going to be close. We knew it because again, BA is structured. Andrew's got that team structured. Even when, and I hope he's doing well. I send my prayers for Andrew. But maybe if Andrew was there, maybe that could have been a 3-3. Was his presence, is him not being there was it felt.
So
But still,
most definitely, his presence will
yeah,
be.
his presence would have definitely mean a lot there. Again, the person that was in charge, hands up to him, but BA again, it's in a rebuilding process. It's a building process, just like St. George's. So that was not a bad result, and they were playing down in Wellington Open. Hamilton Parish is home. So no, I just thought that game. I think with what I said last week in terms of my picks, I think they would just get by there.
Yeah.
Those kind of games that Hamilton Parish will win. And again with Sergio too. Again, the student structured team, and who's Hamilton Parish, just like Bermuda, once they start winning, the following just start growing and growing. And so again, it's no surprise about that. The closeness of that match.
Right. With the loss, BAA actually fall into third place because Boulevard defeated Young Man Social Club, who are in fourth, 2-1 out at BAA Field. Boulevard looking to make sure that they keep themselves in a position for that other spot to get promoted. It's going to come down to the wire, but now they are in the driver's seat as they are ahead of BAA and played the same amount of games. Looking at that Boulevard team, Maceo, what's your thoughts? Beating Social Club.
Always knew they would. Always knew the Blazers would beat Social Club. You can see the momentum building with them. Ian Cook, the balancing act and all this. He scored a wonderful goal to push that result across the line. Again, the Boulevard challenge is going to be how do they build on this for next season? Because they don't have a team for the Premier League. I can tell you that they have a team to win at this level. And Social Club. I spoke of other social clubs for real. They're not really for real. And I noticed that when I saw the game against BA, when they hammered BA, like I got to watch what you guys, you're always criticizing, watch what we do to BA. And they literally hammered BA that day up Police Field. But I saw the behavior of the players afterwards. After the game, I watched all these things closely. So I saw the behavior of how the players celebrated that victory rather than let's go for the next stage. And this is my point. We could do something good, but how do we continue to do something better and better and better and better and push ourselves to the next level? So I kind of knew Social Club was going to taper off, and they're probably not even in contention no more with how it's taping out. You got BAA and Boulevard that's going to contend for that second spot, and I think it's going to be Boulevard. I think it's going to be Boulevard. I mean, Boulevard's got a player. I should have never called him Balotelli when he was 12, 13 years old, because that's the name I know him by. Balotelli. That is actually a brilliant player, but he needs management. He needs a lot of management, but it's brilliant. He's a brilliant player. That got Enrique Zul on there. That's again another North Village player that needs management. Player that can change the outcome of games, but he needs management. These are personality type players. And they have a lot of personality type players over there.
Before we get to the one where obviously we'll talk. Yesterday, Wolves beat St. David's 2-1 at Lords. We talked about what you're going to get from a Wolves team and what you're going to get from a St. David's team, and we just thought that Wolves had enough to get over the line, and they did just that.
So let me jump in this real quick. I saw Wolves play. Wolves are absolutely brilliant. They play good football. But they're actually maniacs. That I saw them.
Can't go around calling people's children maniacs.
Hey, hey, they call themselves maniacs. Their fans call them maniacs too. I'm just repeating what they're. But the proper footballers, I saw how they play between the lines, how they move the ball around. And it's not a lot of games I enjoy like that, right? I said I'm going, but I saw the game. I said I'm going to sit down in the ultra section with the real fans, that know their team, and they actually play a brilliant of football. I kid you not. They play a brilliant brand of football, and I saw the game they played against St. David's in the knockout, and then they just start shooting themselves in the foot after they're dominating the games. So they need this management to take that football and piece that they actually have and that football and player to push them over the line. So I spoke of a John Barry. I'm just spoke of that. But they play honest. They play brilliant football. I couldn't believe how they was playing between the lines, around the corner. I'm like, this is an entertaining game of football to watch. But the fans were telling me, stop getting excited. Maceo, please stop getting excited. Watch what happens. The fans telling me that. Watch what happens. And so said, it happened. They go from dominating the game, dominating possession, missing chances to they're struggling to get the game across the line. I was inspired to that. I want to coach that group of players. I'm like, I like that. Yeah.
Punch, your thoughts?
I do. I appreciate your enthusiasm, Maceo. I really do. I really do. About it's like you're watching them and you say, "Oh, they look that's a good move." Yeah, but listen, truthfully speaking, you can go down and watch them train. I've been down and watched the sessions down there at Elliott, and they play in a little grid. The touch player, the roots player, the yard players, man. Yeah, the yard players. Trust me, and they can show up. Yeah, but that mentality there, that organization. It's somebody like I said, and I think we discussed this already. Yes, they look good. Who were they playing against when they look so brilliant? Against the Davids?
Yeah,
who were they?
Davids, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, against the Davids. But let's be honest here. Let's say, for instance, on a Sunday afternoon, and they got a good following too,
Yes.
What? They don't be
proper.
I'm telling you, something about them. That's like, go down and watch the training sessions. Guys are down, all these bites and all these people sit on the wall and watch them and applauding them. But there's something missing with this, what we're talking about here. When they're promoted and they get up to the real deal on a Sunday afternoon and they got to go out and they start losing the game, then you're going to see the destruction. What happens to them mentally? Because they'll fall apart.
I can see that.
Yep. But it's beautiful to watch them and they're happy because they're only playing against St. David's.
I'm telling
That's
you.
cool. Yeah. That's because they're allowed to do that. Now, I saw them play against Thompson Eagles. I thought they could have won that game down St. George's too. They ran out of gas. Simple. In the FA Cup. But there is something that, like I told you, I've been watching them last year. We come down and watch them. You can see them. There's no short balls. You can see what's happening there. Yeah. Yeah, but what happens after that? What
corner playing into the pockets?
Yeah, you got to understand this here. You like the concept when they're really playing.
Yeah.
But God have them in a struggling, and they need to just settle down and say, "Look, hey, we're not gonna get past this, you guys." That's how. No, I don't know. I am not. I am not amused by that result and the way they play. But I am telling you this, sir. I like them. It's like watching Boulevard. Like next week when they had to go down against Norfolk in the FA Cup. Ian Cook is it's gonna be on, and it's a small field. Now, what you speaking about the week before last makes you about enthusiasm. Now Boulevard's win. Now what's people start coming out? Yeah, what's the red, green, and gold start coming out? Norfolk better be ready for this game. A small field, small area, Sunday afternoon. That's gonna trust me. That's gonna be some game there.
Sure.
That's gonna be some game. And like I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, when these FA Cup draws come in, what's the mentality? And it's something to look at and think about in this country. He's got this raw talent, and Boulevard and Wolves are the same way.
Yeah.
But this raw talent, you say, whoa. Now you take Ian Cook and bring him over to North Village. Right, you sit down. We will start scoring goals. Ian Cook is not a bad. It's something. He's a good center forward. He plays. His mobility is good. He can score goals. But his coaching, what is he? His coaching and playing. And how long is that going to last? You know, how long would that happen when he has to play against Danny Tarn? Again, I'm going on about this. So, yes, I wish him, but again, not surprising that Wolves will play that against St. David's. Yeah, have their way, play that good football. After the game, have a couple of beers and discuss. Yeah, but looks to that guy, good football. Oh, yeah, against St. David's. So I'm not really, I'm not,
You're not having it.
I'm not having it. And I like the Wolves people. I love them. I love them to death. I love them people.
I felt like I was at home watching that type
They're
of
passionate, man.
Yeah.
That red, that yellow and black, they look man. I was like,
While they're winning.
Ronaldo winning. It's a tip on the country. What do you do? How you set up? So on a Sunday afternoon, they got to go up to play against PHC and they get promoted next year on 3 o'clock. Take all that tribe up there, they're gonna be good, but let them lose 3-0. Then all the time the players ain't no good no more.
Hey,
that fun part of the game is gone. So anyway, I'm not gonna go on about this. Anyway, kudos to them. I wish them the best. It's just what we're seeing here. And the good thing about it, we are identifying it. It's like we're identifying these problems that these teams like Boulevard and Wolves do have.
Here's the funny part. I know the coach because he's from North Village, male, right? And halftime he was a little frustrated with the players, but I'm saying they're actually not doing nothing wrong. Don't touch this. Don't touch it. When he touched it himself, he touched it. He touched it at 1-0. They had a rhythm. They had a rhythm at 1-0, and when he touched it, he made so many different songs that changed the whole dynamics of it. He took over player with the striker is a tall stand-up striker that holds the ball up. Now he doesn't score. He hasn't scored, but he gets in good position and he links a lot of stuff. And then you had the guy, you had London Steed in there that was sort of manipulating everybody. Right. I like this football. Look at this type of football. But I was next to Hawkey, Hawk's son. I call him Hawkey. He said, Coach, because he knows me from North Phillips, Coach, watch it. He said, don't get excited. Watch what happens.
The channel was about to change.
I'm like, this is. So he said, what I tell you, look, it changed.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. Yeah, it is. Is Jason Lee playing?
Jason Lee's had an injury, so he wasn't playing. Tucker wasn't playing. And I'm surprised to know that they can still play in that manner without those players on the field. So, but it's cultural to their behavior and cultural to where they train, how they play close. They play like how they like that. You play close, you play around the corners. We move forward together. I'm saying it was totally structured a game of football that I like to watch, even though the result, but they just went south. It's like they hit a button at like 65 minutes. They hit this button that says
that's the gas, the other gas. Working on fumes until the end.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the final game of the weekend in the First Division, Vasco and Paget Lions. Not to harp on it too much, but congratulations, Paget, winning the first game of the season. Something that one person said it would never happen.
I've been humble.
But sometimes a team needs that.
Yeah.
And you use that at the right time. I mean, we've talked about the time they came close to beating, who was it, the Wolves? They drew with Wolves. They were about a couple of minutes away from winning that one. And I think they the first time they played Boulevard, that was close.
Yeah.
But they finally got one over the line, and kudos to the players and the coaching staff for sticking together, because they could have thrown in the towel a long time ago, but they've hung in there, and now they've got a result.
you have to respect that, right? You have to respect that. They took harsh criticism, from people like myself, and they're responding to it. So you have to respect that, And they was up 6-0 and up 6-4. It's like Hill only got a little iffy, right? But
how much more time left?
but this is what I like about athletes or sports is when you're taking criticism, take it on board, and can you shut that criticism down? And the only way you can shut that criticism down is the result that's on the field. And I like that. I respect that. So kudos to Don, the coach that's hung in there. Don sent me a text. We got it. I said, okay. It's like we got it. So that shows the value of the show, right? It also shows the value of the show and the criticism and the analysis that we give to people to respond. Again, it's not personal, and I like that it's not personal. Me and Don, we're had one-to-one conversations over the years, about stuff, and he's growing. Like I like he's growing as a coach, and this is the environment we're in. You're going to get criticized in that environment, JM, but they responded. And the president, Jamie. Okay, Jamie, you got one crossing line, Jamie. All right, please don't show up in my office tomorrow. In my
he'll be standing outside waiting for you.
Don't show up in my workplace tomorrow. Please don't do that.
I just want to say what I said about a month ago. A couple of months ago, we were discussing what happened to Paget, that area, what happened to Rangers too.
Mm-hmm.
I keep going back to the times when PHC had the lights, and remember, Paget was having night games at PHC, and so was Rangers. So that whole section of the country in that area, it's just been like, it's been real. PHC is the only stronghold there now, and you got to look at why. And I thought that's again, they won today, but with applaud the coach. I applaud what they're trying to do, and it's going to take time. But I still look at what he's trying to achieve, the junior program, because I don't think Rangers are trying that. Rangers are getting there now, because I think it has to do with the show too, about pointing the finger at people and saying, well, what's the structure of your club? Do you have a junior program come up? Who's running it? What are you doing? So this program does bring a lot and ask a lot of questions. I think that's what we talked about. And not to try to embarrass people, it's just facts. We're talking facts. And and it's a revelation to people that I've heard that you guys are hitting on points that should have been discussed years ago. So again, Paget. You'll see. And what colors do they wear, Maceo? Is that still yellow and green and black? What colors do they wear? I'm not trying to be funny.
Green and black. Green and black.
Green and black, yeah. Green and black. And if you go back 5 or 6 years, they had some good young players coming out of Paget there in the junior program. Trust me. I remember them.
Oh, I mean, Rango is from Paget. Rango. Yeah. So that's the unstoppable. That's the chain. Yeah. The unstoppable.
But then Kenny Bird come from that area too, Maceo?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those are those players that come from the area and end up at PHC.
Right.
Or end up at Rangers. Well, PHC, the more dominant players will end up at PHC. That's been the pathway.
Right. And that's again making that discussion, talk about that discussion about what we talked about last week or week before last about what's happening up the West End.
Sure.
The demise of West End, football up in the West End.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll look at our picks from the last week and matches coming up, including the FA Cup matches. We'll be right back.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Most of us identify pasta with the joys of Italian food, the most popular cuisine on the planet. After all, pasta is the staple food of Italy, where hundreds of varieties are enjoyed daily. While traveling in the Far East, the founder of the Explore Cuisine company was surprised and impressed by the variety of exotic pastas he found, sampled, and enjoyed there, and resolved to bring this knowledge back to enrich the cuisine of the West. This month, we're featuring delicious Explore Cuisine organic mung bean fettuccine and black bean spaghetti. Lindo, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, it is in the second half out at the Devonshire Recreation Club, and PHC continue to lead 1-0. Looking at the picks, Saturday afternoon, it was that North Village and Robin Hood match. Myself, Punchy, and Coach Keita picked North Village, and Maceo, you picked a draw. We all got that wrong, with Robin Hood winning 3-2. And then last night at the PAA Field, we all took Dandy Town over Southampton Rangers. Today, myself and Coach Keita picked Eagles, and Punchy and Maceo picked Crossroads. That ended in a draw, of course. And out at the Wellington Oval, we all picked St. George's to beat Devonshire Colts, and that ended in a 2-2 draw. St. David's and Wolves yesterday, we all took Wolves. Today, we all took Boulevard over Young Man Social Club. Myself, I took BAA. Punchy, you took a draw. And Maceo and Coach Keita picked Parish to win, and they'll pick up a point there. And then the final match, Vasco and Paget. Punchy, Maceo, and Coach Keita all picked Vasco. I picked Paget. So I was the only one who picked up a point there. So thus far, with PHC, without the PHC result, I have 4. Punchy, you have 3. Maceo, you have 4, and Coach Keita has 4 going into it. So the improvement goes to Coach Keita, moves to 87. Maceo, you're on 85. Punchy, you're on 80, and I will move to 79. With the PHC win, we'll all get another point. Now, let's look forward to this week. We have league matches as well as the FA Cup. So on midweek here, we have, let's do the league first. So it's PHC versus Crossroads on Wednesday night. And we'll start with you, Punchy.
That's PHC. Yeah, that's PHC. I'm going to go with PHC for that.
So that's a league game.
Yeah, that's a league game. That's a make-up league game.
Yeah.
PHC.
PHC, okay. And I'm going to take PHC as well. St. George's Colts on Saturday will play Crossroads. Maceo?
St. George's Colts will play Crossroads. Jesus, St. George's Colts. Man, come on, you guys. No, they can't get Crossroads, man. Not right now. Where's the game?
Wellington Oval.
Wellington Oval. Jesus, St. George's, man. I really wanted to see you do well. I've lost faith in you. St. George's. Crossroads.
Okay. All right. I think they'll pull it out. St. George's for me. Punchy?
I think St. George's will pull this one out. I think it was a setback for them for the draw against, the last minute against Devonshire Colts. But I think there's still, like I said, in the building process, I still think it's not like the old mentality there. There's a different mentality going on there. And I do believe that they'll get close in line with Crossroads. I think I'm going to go with St. George's for this one here.
Okay. And then it's first division games also on Saturday. The first one, Wolves versus Paget. And that'll be at Wellington Oval as well. I'm going to take Wolves. Punchy?
I'm taking Wolves.
Maceo?
Yeah, Wolves. I'm gonna watch it because I at least enjoyed the football and I enjoyed the fans. I enjoyed the football and the fans.
Okay. And then Ireland Rangers host BAA at Malabar. Punchy?
Hey, listen, hey, I'm gonna tell you, that's a little tricky. That's a tricky one. Trust me. Yeah. with the structure of I just think BA. I'm going to BA on this one. It's tricky, but I think I'm going to BA on this one.
Okay. Matthew?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit more simple. B is going to be organized and structured to take care of those guys. And I see this kid Trey Burgess is starting to school for BA. He's actually is a decent footballer. I know he was pretty slight. Now he's starting to find his way because he was an intelligent footballer. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm picking BA.
I just want to say something about that our selections concerning that game and what I think in Bermuda. BA is just not good enough to show up to make they're going to have a real good plan. They know what they're going to do. They know exactly what's required of them. That's the difference that we won't get with Wolves every week.
Right. Well, they want to pressure on Boulevard. So Boulevard are not playing this week in league. So here's an opportunity for them to move back into second place. So they're going to want to do that and with a convincing win over Island Rangers. So for that reason, I'm BA.
I'm going with BA. Yeah, me too.
The last first division match for the weekend, we'll see Vasco host St. David's. Maceo?
Jeez. Yeah, Vasco's done. St. David's is going to pull this one off.
Okay. I picked St. David's. Punchy?
I'm picking St. David's on this one too. That's a big blow for Vasco. St. David's. Yeah. I'm picking St. David's for that. Yep.
All right. Now we get into the FA Cup. And of course, we have two midweek games before we get to the finals, the next round, the quarterfinal round. So Somerset Trojans are entertaining Hamilton Parish at the Somerset Cricket Club on Tuesday night, I believe it is. Maceo, you're up.
Hamilton Parish.
Well, I'm actually gonna take Somerset Trojans. They've come on of late. Punchy?
When is this game on a Tuesday night?
I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the two.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. Serge did a very good job there, but the FA Cup, it's at Somerset. I'm gonna go with Somerset on this one.
Okay, all right. And then the next night, I believe that game is Tuesday night, and then Wednesday night it is St. David's and Robin Hood. I'm going to take Robin Hood. Punchy?
That's Robin Hood. That's the FA Cup, right? Yeah, it's Robin Hood.
What are these games at FA Cup now?
Where's this game at BA?
No, this one's at Devonshire.
Oh. No, I'm going with Robin Hood still. I'm going with Robin Hood on this one.
Sure. Bates?
Robin Hood.
Okay. All right. And then it's the quarterfinal matches. So that's Dandy Town versus the winner out of Somerset and Parish. I'm pretty sure we can pick this one. Or do you guys want to wait?
Dandy Town versus the winner of
Trojans and Parish.
Yeah, I think we're going to wait because it changes the circumstances, how I think, right?
All right. We do have Somerset Eagles are home to Devonshire Cougars. And I believe Punchy, you're up.
We're still talking the FA Cup here, right?
Yeah, FA Cup, yes. FA Cup.
No, Cougars. Hands down, Cougars. Cougars are not going up to White Hill and lose to an FA Cup. No way. I'm going with Cougars on this.
Okay. Maceo?
Yeah, definitely Cougars. Yeah, they know the leagues are far-fetched for them. Any update on the school out there?
Still 1-0. Still 1-0 PAT. Then this one, I know it'll be a lot of odds. North Village hosts the Boulevard Blazers. Maceo, you are up.
Boulevard can't be North Village right now. No, they can't be North Village right now. Not in the FA Cup. North Village, man.
Okay.
No, they can't. Norfolk is a cup team.
You know what? I'm about to turn the tables on you. I'm taking Boulevard. Punchy?
Well, I would have side with you in go against Norfolk, but when you start looking at if I was coaching against Norfolk, of course they didn't have the numbers yesterday, and you start doing what if Boulevard will be able to do what Robin Hood done. This would be very close. This would be a very close contest. And then you got Ian Cook. Ian Cook, am I right? His name Ian Cook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I've been winning. So this is not an easy. This ain't I still pick. I'm gonna pick North Village on this one. I'm gonna pick because the Hearn FA Cup tradition. It means a lot to them. It means a lot. It seems like they up for that particular type of games. I don't know what happened against what happened that night out there against PHC. The selection they were booted out of the friendship, but on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock or 2:30, I think no. I'm gonna pick North Village on this one.
Okay, all right. And then of course we'll have to wait until we see who the winner is out of St. David's and Robin Hood because they face PHC. So we'll select that one after that match. So we'll get back to you guys on that. Well, we did select the last week. We picked Shea Brangman as the player of the week, and this was the presentation for Shea at Gosling's. And when we come back, we're going to announce the Hood game. Hood's game is actually on Tuesday. I've just been informed, and then we'll get into the player of the week and the player of the month. But this was the presentation.
Okay, we're here to present Gosling's Player of the Week. Congratulations, Shea Brangman. With Robin Hood, your victory over the Somerset Eagles. And you had a young squad around you. You scored a hat trick, and you really were a great team player. So, delighted to present you with this bottle of Flora Gold rum as Player of the Week. That also means you're eligible for Player of the Month, which is going to be a much bigger prize. Okay. So, congratulations, and keep up the good work. Okay. Thank you.
And there you had it, Shea Brangman, the player of the week last week. This week, the player of the week, we had our chat prior to the start of the show, and we came to the consensus that Zende Furbett from the Dendytown Hornets would be the player of the week. Maceo, you were instrumental in discussing Zende. Just give us a bit of what you saw last night that would have convinced you to want to pick someone like Zende.
These type of players go unnoticed. So Dendytown is been, players have been breaking down all the way around Dendytown. You see on Darrow out of the back line. You got players of Beach's caliber that's injured, and he's been the constant stay in protecting the back line and allowing the forward players to play. So his work goes unnoticed, and that's a lot of work in Bermuda. That work goes unnoticed. That type of player, selfishness type of player, goes unnoticed a lot because it doesn't get mentioned. So I mean, if you ever had a conversation with a player such as now Castle, or we're now in the modern game we call it the Makalele rule, or the Conti rule. These players allow everybody else to play, and that's what he's done. That's what Zende Furbett has done. He's set there in front of the defense, behind the forward line in the midfield, and has allowed everybody to play, man. And that needs to be noticed and talked about in the work that he does. It's been the constant time.
Sure. And now
I just want to speak about his attributes to because he was one time playing for Norfolk also, but I thought I couldn't find that for some reason they couldn't find the right position for him. I thought they used him at wing back and wide right. Then they used him at a central defender, like the last defender. They lose him close to back. So now he's found himself, his real self in the role that he plays, and I think he has a good personality for that, which is what we talk about, the type of person that he is. And he just goes about those everything, like you don't hear him, when he makes a tackle, he just gets up. When somebody tackles him, he gets up, does his job. And again, like I say, like the Now Castles, lot of teams do help these type of players, whether it's professional or amateur, that do that type of work. And they're not noticed. How many girls he scores a year? What does he do? Does he do anything creative? No, he just does the simple things which you need in your team. So hats off to him. Sandy, he's finally getting his rewards. Well, I think he's a fine player. He's also been in the national program also. And I think it's the future of the country too. He wasn't used as much as I thought he should have been, but in that national program. But he's made for that position.
Right. And then we discussed obviously the player of the week of the month. We had the 4 players that we had selected, and out of the 4, we want to congratulate Boulevard Blazers Ian Cook for being the first Gosling's Player of the Month for his contribution and helping Boulevard advance in the FA Cup that week, and his contribution we just thought was one that needed the reward of Player of the Month. So congratulations, Ian Cook, and congratulations to the other winners of the weekly award, and may you win it again and have the opportunity to become the Player of the Month. So latest at Devonshire Recreation Club, it's still PHC 1, Devonshire Cougars 0. Devon PHC is going to want to try and sew this one up to try and close that gap again on the Dandytown Hornets. They wouldn't want to give them that much more of a lead, because obviously any lead more than 3 points when they still have to play them is going to need another team's help. So right now it is Devonshire Cougars 0, PHC Zebras 1. So gentlemen, thank you very much for your time tonight. We look forward to another edition of the Island Stats Football Show next week, Sunday, 6 p.m. And we'll have Coach Keita back, and we'll get some words of wisdom, I guess, moving forward with the ladies program as well. So until next week, Sunday, enjoy your night, folks. Have a good night.
Take care, guys.